For the past 2 years, I've been freelancing full-time as a content creator living in London, working with brands and sharing it all online. And in that time, I've learned one thing: freelancing isn't cheap. From rent and travel to gear, subscriptions, and just life. And while I've always tried to be mindful with money, I've also realized that sometimes you need to spend to grow. For the past year and a half, I've worked entirely from my one-bed flat in London. But like anything in life, you eventually hit a ceiling. And after months of feeling like I'd hit a wall and felt completely uninspired, I knew I had to change something. So today, I want to give you a look at what I actually spend as a freelancer living in London, from everyday costs to business expenses, and why I decided it was worth to spend an extra £500 a month just to work somewhere else. Because turns out, being smart with money isn't always about knowing when to save. Sometimes it's about knowing when to invest in yourself. So this is my new studio or office, whatever you want to call it. It's the place I now come to work every day, shared with Gareth and my close friend Leah.
Oh my god, I just can't believe it.
But before I show you the numbers, I want to take you through the process of how we actually found it. Freelancing often blurs the lines between work and life. Working from home meant I'd spend all day in joggers, barely leaving the flat, and then wonder why I couldn't switch off. I just came to my local coffee shop to do some work. At the moment, both Gareth and I work from home, and I think I've been really unproductive over the past few months, really. And after a lot of research and messages back and forth, we narrowed down what we actually needed. Natural light, absolute non-negotiable, especially for filming. Decent price, like max £600 per person, and a location that's easy to get to and has a good energy and creative community. Okay, so today is a very exciting day because Leah and I have our first viewing and we are in Hackney Down Studios. First impressions, the journey to get here is a little bit tricky. Leah made a spreadsheet, so we're writing these things in a spreadsheet. We're doing day 2 of viewings. Leah's not joining us today because she has back pain. So the first ones that we saw with Leah yesterday, they were okay. But you know, when you walk into a studio, you kind of want to feel like, oh, you know, yeah, I'm gonna be excited to come here every day to work. And nothing like that was in the previous one, so we're not getting that. But also the commute would be like 55 minutes, which is absolutely no-go. Then we found this building, close to where we live. We all know the area really well. And as soon as we walked in, we knew the vibes were vibing.
I like the space.
For us, what's really important is having really good natural light. And this is exactly that. This was one of those places where you walk in and you immediately go, okay, yeah, I can see myself coming here every day. From the space itself, the location, the people, and it even has lifts, saunas, and ice bath.
This is the spot.
And so after a few too many email threads over a 2-month period and a paid deposit, we finally moved in. Honestly, it's been a bit of a game changer, not just for focus, but for mental health, for balance, and honestly, for the vibes. But this video isn't just about the studio, it's about what it actually costs to be a freelancer in London, all the things that no one talks about and we all probably want to know. And since the studio is now one of my biggest monthly expenses, let's start there. Okay, so the total cost for the studio is approximately £2,000 per month, with a full breakdown on the screen here. Now, after deducting 20% VAT, the total cost comes down to £1,670, which works out to be around £557 per person. Now, getting here takes me about 25 minutes, and with a 16 to 25 rail card, which is linked to my Oyster card, I get 30% off of big journeys, and then I also have a yearly membership with Santander Cycles, which costs £120 per year. Now, obviously, committing to extra monthly costs when you're a freelancer can feel scary. Work isn't guaranteed, income fluctuates, and there is no steady paycheck. Basically, I was in the process of renegotiating my contract. It's been kind of in the process for the past 2 months. Just got an email now, and it just didn't go through. I kind of stuck by what I wanted. And if that's also not what I'm getting, then I also don't want to do it.
And maybe this is just the reason why right now is not the time.
Now, I've been very lucky because I have Artly supporting my YouTube journey, which is basically a year-long retainer, which gives me a peace of mind. But one thing that I really loved that Leah said to me when we were deciding was, instead of thinking what it's going to cost you, think about the person you're going to become by the end of it. And I think that really stuck with me. But before we dive deeper, to give you a better idea of how I work, about 80% of my income comes from brand deals, the ones you mostly see on here and on my other socials. And I'm genuinely so thankful because they've opened up so many cool opportunities. Let's be real, being a content creator comes with little and also big costs. When I started, I tried to save every penny. I'd avoid spending money anywhere I could. But over time, I started to value time and efficiency more rather than just going for the cheapest option. Like my laptop, it cost me over 3,500, but it's where all my work happens. So for me, it's a peace of mind. Now, gear is obviously quite a big part of the job, and over the years, I've got quite a few, from cameras, lenses, mics, accessories, as you can see here. And some I've saved for and bought, and some of it was gifted. Okay, then this was a nice one. Sony let me keep both of these lenses after a paid project, and then my absolute fave, the 35mm f1.4, which I got gifted or in exchange because they wanted to use one of my images as a flyer.
Yet again, me and my 35 f1.4, literally the best lens in the world.
I also rent out some of my gear, which brings in about £70 a month on average. Sometimes nothing, sometimes some, but it's really nice extra when it happens. And of course, we can't forget about storage. SSDs, backups, corrupted drives, you know the drill. My biggest purchase recently was my NAS. £3,500 for 96 terabytes of storage. And I think it was then when I had a realization I should probably sort out my camera insurance.
So right now we are at a total of £25.45 per month, which is £298.35 annually.
I'm very lucky to get free access to both Motion Array and Artlist through sponsorships, and thanks to all of you for signing up by using the link in my bio, which helps me to keep making these videos. And on this note, let me tell you about Artlist, the sponsor of today's video. These days, AI has become such a big part of everything we do, and I'm always open to seeing how it can help me be more efficient. Not replace me, help me. Artlist had so many cool updates recently.
Like being able to upload your own voice using their AI voice generator, and it'll match your tone, pace, and even emotion.
They've also added the option to upscale AI videos to 4K, use prompts in different languages, and add custom voice effects to shape tone and emotion. Now, I'm not an AI creator, but these tools are so handy, and it's so interesting to see where it's all heading. So if you want a platform that offers everything from what I've just mentioned to music, sound effects, LUTs,
AI voiceover,
and more, by clicking the link in my bio, you can get 2 months free on top of your yearly plan, which is pretty cool. Thank you, Artlist. Outside of the creative side, there's a whole other layer of costs that come by just living in London. The boring but important stuff. Rent at home is £1,600 a month, and that doesn't include the bills like electricity, Wi-Fi, council tax, and utilities. Back when I worked from home, I could expense a chunk of that for taxes because basically my home was also my office.
So just to show you the living situation right now. Sorry, everything's a mess because obviously we know we're moving out tomorrow. But you come here and this is the living room, right? Yay, woo! And then you're chilling here on the sofa watching TV, and then you're like, oh damn, I probably should be getting work done. And then I'm like, oh okay, let me go get work done. This is basically where I've been working for the past year and a half. Do you see what I'm talking about? This is a mess. Oh my god, like just showing this right now and like it's not making me feel good, honestly.
Now, I don't have an accountant. I've always done my own taxes, but I'm super organized with it. I keep receipts, track expenses, and pay myself a monthly salary from my business account to my personal one. That way, things like groceries or clothes come from my personal account and other things stay in my business one. I think an important part about living in London is actually taking advantage of everything that's around you, which can be so easy to forget about, especially when so much of our work happens behind the screen. So when I spend money on things like eating out, I try not to see it as wasted. Sometimes it's networking, catching up with creative friends, or meeting with potential clients. And with that comes a cost. Now, on average, I spend about £100 on the tube. I rarely take Ubers unless I'm carrying gear, coming home really late, or the client is paying for the expenses. Okay, now the most dangerous category, food and coffees. This is where it all adds up. Alrighty, so Gareth and I just grabbed lunch. My thing is like, I love eating out. However, today I cooked myself some pasta. I think honestly, if I could eat out every day, I would, but I just know that genuinely wouldn't be good. Cooking is just better. Now, when you're out filming or just trying to survive a long edit day, the temptation to get food delivered or eat out, like in this very moment when we're filming, is real. Hello. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. The irony of me getting food delivered while editing this sequence. Horses. Let's go. Great financial decision. Then there's social and networking stuff. Some are free, some are not, but showing up to this has been one of the biggest reasons I've been able to build a career. And yeah, between coffees, food, occasional events and meetups, I spend a few £100 a month just on being out. But honestly, it's always worth it. Nothing beats meeting people in real life, catching up and having proper conversations. Okay, so the moment we've all been waiting for, the total cost and the breakdown. Now, just to make one thing clear, this is not financial advice. This is just my experience living in London as a content creator. The reality is everyone's values, lifestyle and priorities are different. Some people might spend more on food, others on gear or rent. It all depends what kind of work you do, the life you're building, and ultimately what matters most to you. Plus, some months are cheaper than others. For example, summer tends to be more expensive because I just try to go out more and make the most out of the nice weather. So with all that being said, the total cost per month is around £2,400. My biggest expense is living at home, which takes up just under half of my budget at £1,087 a month, or around 45%. Next is the studio. Rent, bills and internet come to about £557 a month, which is 23% of my monthly spend. Then there's food and social stuff, groceries, eating out, coffees, networking. That's around £400 a month, or around 17%. Travel is about £150, so roughly 6%, and subscription, insurance and admin bits like software and website hosting come to around £130, another 5%. Finally, I also pay £29 per month for my gym membership, which is about 1% of my monthly spend. I think I should invest a little bit more into my health. Anyways, a lot has changed since I first moved to London, and the truth is it'll probably keep changing. And even when it comes to expenses, it's interesting to see how they shift too. This looks so nice. I guess if there's one thing I've learned is that you don't need to have it all figured out before taking a step forward. Freelancing is always a little bit up and down, but at least trying to learn when to save, when to spend, and most importantly, who you spend your time with can make a big difference. Anyways, I hope this video gave you real insight into the cost that comes with being a freelancer, especially in a city like London. I am honestly so thankful I get to live here and for all the cool opportunities, experiences, and friendships this place has given me. Till next time.